Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lackawanna City Council meeting for September 3rd, 2024. It's approximately 6:30, and as most people know, we start with the caucus. Caucus is an opportunity for the City Council to individually discuss, if necessary, and debate, ask questions of each of the individual agenda items. Immediately following that, our caucus, we will move into the formal meeting where the voting actually takes place. I would remind anyone that the meeting is being taped, and as a result, your comments will be recorded, as will ours. We have a special guest, John Castillo, who's the author of our latest audit. We'd like to welcome him here this evening and thank you for your efforts. It was quite an undertaking. We understand that you did a very thorough job. We appreciate that. And any problems that seem to have occurred have been remedied to that extent, correct?
It appears so.
Yeah, great. Is there anything you'd like to add for our council's edification?
Not really. The report kind of stands for itself. We did have a couple of comments regarding timing of the audit and timeliness of anything produced.
And that was addressed in your audit, as well as the reasons for that. But Mike E2 and our controller's office, Peggy V. Sobel, who's present, our assistant controller, have really picked up the pace and jumped in and helped bring us up to speed, and we appreciate that also. But John, thank you for being here this evening. Does any of the council have any questions on that latest audit? John?
Yeah, just the one thing I noticed is the American Rescue Plan funds, are they all obligated?
Yes.
They are? And they gotta be obligated by the end of the year?
Yeah.
So that's, okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Council President, I know you didn't ask me, but I would just like to add that last year's audit was late. In this year's audit, it's anticipated that it will be, the process will start early than usual. So that is the type of speed that the comptroller's office have accomplished over the last 6-7 months.
And thank you for that, John. And I believe the change in the position of city controller was a contributing factor to the delay in that report. I'm not mistaken.
I would just say that with the prior comptroller gone, in assistance from an accounting firm that has stepped up the speed of reconciliations on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis.
Yeah, thank you. All right, anything else from the council on that topic? If not, then looking at our agenda, the first several items are administrative, so we'll move right on to communications from division department heads. Director of Parks and Recreation, Director Laxo, City Council approved use of Veteran Stadium by Lackawanna Little League Football, September 1st, November 18th, 2024. Insurance, proof insurance was provided. Brian, anything you want to add?
Yes, this is, as everyone on the council is aware, this is an arrangement we've had with Lackawanna Little League for decades, at least 40 that I'm aware of. What's new this year is that potentially we could be looking at the light replacement project occurring mid to late October, that there's a possibility that it will begin that early. It may be pushed a little bit later. A lot has to do with the supply line, things of that nature. But they definitely want to try to do it as early as possible to avoid snow impeding the progress. So Lackawanna Little League has been made aware of that situation, that there is the potential that November 18th isn't a feasible ending. It may have to be cut short a bit. And they're aware of that and are making alternate plans just in case that is the case. And you could carry my little soliloquy here onto the next two agenda items as well. All groups have been organized, or excuse me, have been notified that those conditions exist and may cause a truncated season in each case.
Thank you, Brian. So if the lighting situation is undertaken earlier, then that would curtail any use of the fields?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, they utilize that field specifically because of the lighting. So they really couldn't reschedule to an earlier part of the day because of parents having to come home from work to get their kids ready for practice. So it needs to be a later start, and would defeat the purpose of having the practices in that location if we didn't have proper lighting for them.
Thank you, Director Lack. So, any council members have any comments on number 6? Not moving directly to 7. Again, from Director Lack, so Lackawanna City Council approve use of Veterans Stadium by LA Sports Club on Saturday, Sundays 3 to 9 p.m., September 4th through October 26th for the youth soccer camp. And this, they provided insurance also. This is a continuation of that program, is that correct?
I don't know that I believe they have had soccer programs before. I don't know if it was at this location. But this is a continued effort from the LA Sports Club. They do terrific work, and happy to help them anytime we can.
And that's Mr. Glover, correct?
Correct.
All right, any council members have any comments on item number 7? We got item number 8, again from Director Lack. Lackawanna City Council approve use of veteran stadiums by Lackawanna Soccer Club every Monday, September 4th through October 26th. Flag football insurance provided. Brian, anything?
Same thing. It's actually a new program that these gentlemen wanted to start, but we've had similar softball programs with them, and we're kind of making it more official. They were running it off of a waiver system before. Now they are providing insurance for the entire season rather than a weekly waiver. So they're running their own league, but they're utilizing our facilities and they are properly insured.
Thank you, Brian. Council have any comments on that item? If not, moving on to item number 9 from our city attorney, request City Council approve.
If I may, Mr. Council President, I'm
Yes.
sorry. There's something I just wanted to bring up about the Veteran Stadium. I'm sorry. I've stopped there numerous times in the evening when functions are going on, and people are driving their cars all the way in there, in front of the stands, and they're parking on the grass. I just feel that there might be a matter of public safety if heaven forbid, somebody gets hit over there or something. I don't think they should be driving all over inside there. I mean, is there any way we could?
That never used to be the practice, right?
Huh?
That never used to be the practice.
Well, I didn't stop in there.
Yeah. Ryan, Dan, you have anything?
This is the first I'm hearing about it. I think this
I
is.
didn't mean to bring it up.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Obviously, I think this is more of a public safety issue than anything else. If vehicles are being parked in an area where they're supposed to.
I've seen them on the south side of the fields there. I don't know how many of them, unless it's a coach with a number of things, inside their vehicle that they
Well, I
want.
don't think that's good practice. We should maybe somehow block that off so they're not driving around in there. No, that's just my opinion.
Where they store all their equipment is in the far back part of the stands. And I know Terrell always goes back there to load up his car.
Mhm.
I'm talking about parents. I've seen parents driving back there with little kids running around.
Is it mostly when Darrell's group is there? Because I could have him notify the parents that just because you see me going back there to pick up and unload equipment doesn't mean that that's public parking. We do have a
No,
public.
I'm talking there was 20, 25 cars.
Yeah, I'm just trying to establish which organization that is, so I know who to troubleshoot with.
Something we should keep an eye on.
Director Morocco, would you take a look at that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, again, moving on to item number 9. From our city attorney, request City Council approve proposed fire chief contract for August 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2027, and authorize Mayor Fowle to execute same. I know there have been ongoing negotiations, and I believe everyone's pleased with and appreciates the efforts of Chief Fino that he's brought to that position. And I'm glad to see that the contract has been worked out. Any of the city council members have any questions? Chief Eno is present. Not? Okay, we'll move on to item number 10, from our city attorney. City council approved proposed budget bond council resolution for the new city hall project located 2830 South Park Avenue in the amount of $15,250,000. I believe we all had a chance to look at that language. Any additional questions that we may have been answered by our city attorney and our controller's office. But bond council is present, and perhaps for our audience in here and at home, would you just give us a brief summary of what this all entails?
I'd be happy to. John Alessi from Hodgson Russ, and it's a pleasure speaking with you. What you have in front of you is a bond resolution, and this bond resolution authorizes a capital improvements project for the amount that you stated, and authorizes the issuance of tax-exempt obligations for this project. And those obligations will be issued at time and amount as to be determined based on the construction schedule. This is the culmination right here of a lot of work by various members of the city and the architect. And this I describe as the cornerstone for the project. It formally authorizes the project to move forward. So with that, I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
Thank you, John. Any council members have any questions of Mr. Alessi?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
how does the bond get paid back?
The bond gets paid back through any manner of revenue that's generated by the city. So, if there are certain funds that will be applied to it, that's fine. It can be through the issuance of a levy or the collection, through any of the city's taxing mechanisms.
Is it one payment per year, or?
It is generally one payment a year. Once you the financing structure will be determined, by the controller's office upon the advice of the municipal advisor, and that payment plan will eventually culminate in an annual principal payment and then biannual interest payments. And so that's what I describe as an airplane that takes off for the long-term flight. And that's what it will ultimately come to.
For how many years?
That can be up to 25 years, but it can be shorter than that if desired.
And the interest rate is to be determined?
To be determined, sir, yes.
Would that be at the beginning of the fiscal year, or?
The interest rate would be determined at the time of the issuance of the obligation, and the anticipated interest rate can be anticipated, but you won't know until you actually go out and do the public sale.
And we're locked into that interest rate?
You're locked into that interest rate for, as I described, the sort of term of the flight. If it's the short-term flight, then you're locked in for that short-term period. But once that long-term flight takes off, so to speak, then you're locked into that for the period of that time. Yes.
Council President.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Alessi, it says here, said amount will be offset by federal, state, county, and local funds received. Can you explain that?
Yes, to the extent that there are any funds that the council would like to utilize to reduce the amount of financing, you're permitted to do that, but you're not required to do that. So it says, to the extent that such funds are available and would like to be utilized, you don't have to utilize the full amount of this obligation, should you have other funds or grants that are received.
No penalty if we pay it off?
In terms of that long-term flight, so to speak, there's the period of time, you're locked in for a period of time, and Generally, if interest rates fall down after a certain period of time, generally 8 to 10 years, depending on where the market is, then that could be refinanced at a lower interest rate. But that's, subject, of course, to changes by the federal government for the tax regulations. But that's generally how it goes.
Anyone else?
Good question.
If not, John, we appreciate your being here, especially on such short notice. But thank goodness your office isn't too far away.
That's right. I'm happy to, and happy to answer any additional questions should you have them.
Well, we appreciate that. I think we're good with this evening. Thank you, John.
Great.
President, I have a question more so towards us. We're just approving the actual bond, we're not approving an interest rate. Would that be a separate?
We're approving going to bond, correct, John?
Yeah. Right?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Do
We're gonna
we,
issue
do we do a second vote for an interest rate once it's locked in, or is this
I
already?
don't believe we make that decision. It's the counseling, the financial advisor that does that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, John, again, thank you. All right, there's a corresponding resolution to that agenda item number 10. Moving on to item number 11 from Dan Gerken, our senior foreman, Public Works. The City Council approved purchase of used 2022 Freightliner Model 11-4SD plow truck from the town of Cornellville in the amount of $255,000. Dan, are those funds available in your account already?
Yes, excuse me, we have two separate budget lines we'll be able to use with them funds.
Any council members have any questions?
Is there any work need to be done to bring them up to current standard?
No,
or are
these-
they all good to go?
Yeah, these trucks are in immaculate condition. This will actually be the fourth truck we've purchased from them. So, they're all ready to go. Front plow, side plow, winter tires with wheels, extra set of summer tires with wheels, stainless steel dump bed, salter, everything's ready.
Just curious, how many miles are there?
15,000 miles,
15,000.
yeah.
Wow, $255,000, it's a bargain.
Yeah, so a new truck would cost, estimate for a new truck fully equipped would be around $340,000, and they're 18 to 24 months out for production.
Plus, it's still under warranty, right?
Yes, it is. I believe for five years.
And this, will this add to our fleet or?
Yes,
is
it will.
replacing
No, this will add.
some?
This will add, yes.
The color?
I believe it's yellow. I didn't see it. The previous three we purchased were yellow, so.
Anyone else? If not, moving on to agenda item number 12, again from Dan Gerken, senior foreman, because City Council approved the striping of a new crosswalk and installation signage at 257 Ridge Road at St. Hyacinth's Head Start program. The diagram was attached. Any council members have any questions on item number 12? Moving on to item number 13, again from Dan Gerken, senior foreman, because City Council approved Mr. Tarseth's general construction for the new city hall. General contractor, bid price was a loan of $5,077,000. The other bid amounts were enclosed. There was a lower bid, but that I understand was withdrawn. Dan, you care to make any comment on that?
Yeah, no, Sicoli was the lowest lowest bid. They withdrew their bid with clerical error, so the city allowed them to withdraw their bid. So Resiteris was the next lower bid. Myself and the engineering firm met with them to go over the contract, just to make sure, just to review the scope of work, to make sure they didn't miss anything and everything was covered. So they're confident that that price is right on.
Thank you. Any council members have any questions? Item 13.
Your Honor,
Yes.
just to let you know, 13, 14, and 15 are contingent on 10 and 10A. The reason why they're part of this agenda is we've learned from the delay in the project from March, April 2024 until now, costs increase. And I just want the council to be aware that I met with Dan Gerken and we decided to put all these on the agenda item, but knowing that some are contingent upon the resolution, and it's not anticipating your vote one way or another, it was just practical to do it, because if it does move forward, then we're not delaying and increasing cost.
So in other words, what you're saying is that agenda item number 10 and it's a related 10A don't pass, then those items 13, 14, and 15 are withdrawn?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 14, I'll have any questions on 13. Senior Foreman Dan Gherkin, request City Council approve CIR Electrical Construction Corporation for the new City Hall electrical work, bid at $1,697,900. Dan, anything you want to add on that?
No, same as the last item. Myself and CPL met with CIR Electric just to go over all the scope of work, just to make sure that their bid price was correct.
Thank you. The council members have any questions? Item 14. Item 15, Dan Gherkin, request City Council approve CPL Clark Patterson Lee, project coordinator for new City Hall project, $194,290. Letter of proposal attached. Anything further on that, Dan?
By awarding this to CPL as the project coordinator, it will save the city an estimated $200,000 from going out to a third-party contractor for doing this work.
Thank you. John, anything else on that one?
Nothing. Thank you.
Council members?
Yeah.
Yes.
CPL is still the engineering firm on this project, right?
Correct.
So that, I mean, that's just for
This,
day-to-day.
this is for day-to-day. CPL employee Wade Stearns would be the project coordinator. Everything is broken down for the pre-construction activities, which should last about 2 months. He'll be there for around 16 hours a week. Then construction mobilization will last about a month. He'll be there for 20 hours a week. And then we have construction activity on site for estimated 12 months. He'll be there between 12 and 20 hours a week. And then the project closeout, estimated 8 hours a week for 17 months.
Will the city be monitoring or have someone to monitor the progress on a day-by-day, week-by-week?
Yes, I will get with Wayne every single day or weekly.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Item number 15. Moving on to item number 16, Senior Foreman Dan Gherkin, by City Council approved, is attending New York Conference of Mayors Public Works Training School, Saratoga Springs, from October 21st, October 23rd. Council members have any comments, questions on that item? If not, moving on to item number 17 from Police Chief Packard, who is present. Request City Council approve the ordinance amending 24-25 budget to add budget code to capital fund body worn camera initiative. DASD, the DASD grant was awarded in the amount of $363,000. Congratulations, Chief, on that. And that would be reimbursed once the city fronts the money for that, is that correct?
Yeah, once the project's completed, they'll reimburse.
Thank you. And there's a related ordinance attached there too. Any council members have any questions? Go ahead.
How long before it all adds up?
Once, I'm not sure on that, it's gonna take a bit for, once myself and the controller's office get what DASD requesting that we're gonna fund the money. Once we get going with that, it'll be, we already have the estimate in place, Captain made sure of that, so now it'll just be getting the units in here, training the officers, and that's gonna depend on the CBA also, the officers, because it's a change in work conditions, so to take full advantage, that'll have to be negotiated into their contract, so a lot of it's gonna depend on that CDA, to be perfectly honest with you. Not to put pressure, because it can be done in relatively quickly, I'll put it that way, and when it comes to bureaucracy, but it can move along a lot quicker, that's all it's gonna be. So I would say hopefully the end of the year, being what I would look probably more towards the spring, until we have it fully up and running.
Any other questions? John?
Yeah, I just wanna, it's arguable whether it's a mandatory item of negotiation. And for instance, if it's this specific in New York State, if the police officer has to click on the camera, that makes it mandatory in collective bargaining. But for some reason, if it's on, or if it goes on automatically, it's arguable that you don't have to negotiate. So, but I'll work with the captain and the chief of police, and we'll try to get it up and running as soon as possible.
Great, thank you. All right, any other questions on item number 17? Not moving on to item number 18. Controller Peggy B. Sobel, City Council approves standard workday reporting resolution for elected appointed officials from RS 2417A. This is a standard form, right, Peggy? It's
Yes.
Any council members have any questions on 18? Communication of citizens will get into at the regular meeting, formal meeting, business registration. Christopher Duffy, Duffy's Auto Detailing, 1212 Abbott Road. Suite 5, any comments or questions from council on that? If not, second is Karen Pepe, Briar Hill Holdings LLC, Cannabis Dispensary, 1385 Abbott Road. Any council members have any questions or comments on that?
I do, Council President. This would be our first cannabis business in the city of Lackawanna.
Legal one, you
Yes. This would be the first one that we would approve as a council, how about that? So,
That is good.
based on the prior request of the location on Route 5, we were issued as a council the municipal notice back in November or December of last year, which was kind of like a prereq to applying for a cannabis license through the state. And in order to do so, we had to give like a provisional okay, perhaps, for the location. And that predated our ordinance. And we gave the provisional approval for that, so we kind of knew that the gentleman that was applying for the license was going through the notions through the state. We didn't receive anything as far as a council goes, and this is no fault of Ms. Pepe, because she did provide the actual municipal notice, but we never received it as a council. So I just wanted to know the formalities or legalities behind that type of thing, because that does set, to my, in my opinion, it kind of sets somewhat of a precedence moving forward. So do we have the authority as a council to receive the municipal notices and vote on it as a council, or moving forward, do we not need to be on notice?
I don't believe the statute requires the council act one way or the other, accept it or reject it. I believe it's a procedural administrative requirement of the state statute to file with the city clerk's office and be of record that it is filed, and that's all that my understanding is necessary. John, you can expound on that if you care.
It's actually, that's my understanding too, and it's a notice, so it's putting the city on notice. It's not asking for the city's approval, it literally is saying, hey, we're putting in for this license through New York State. The fact that it may not have crossed your desk, I don't know where the failure was, but we do know that it was sent to the city in October of 2023.
Okay.
May
Oh, okay.
I? The notices, when they come into my office, I would forward to the city attorney, and then once development took over, they also went to development. I do not recall having to disperse it to the council. It went directly to city attorney, and there was Rick Judah at the time, and then to development.
Because it's just, with the business license proposal, and I use that term loosely because I know it's still something that the applicant needs to provide to the state when they apply, and it's kind of like, again, a provisional okay from the municipality. We did vote on that when it came to the location on Route 5, and we kind of had a discussion, was it near a park, it wasn't near a park, it wasn't near a school, it wasn't, we kind of like checked off the boxes to make sure that the location was conducive to having a cannabis shop. Had we not had that discussion, we really kind of don't know what's coming through the pipeline, and then it puts the applicant at a risk if later on it's rejected.
I don't understand that.
So the prereq applicant, the municipal notice had, for example, Ms. Pepe provided that, or not provided that to the city council, and I'm sorry, if she did, and then we realized, okay, well, for example, if it was next to Lackawanna High School, we would have eliminated the opportunity for her to continue to apply.
I disagree.
No?
That's not my understanding of the procedure. Just like a notice of claim, a legal notice of claim, if somebody wants to sue the city, they file a legal notice of claim by clocking it in to the city clerk's office. That's notice to the city, that's all that's required.
Right, but we
But
wouldn't vote.
no, I'm sorry, we don't have to have prior notice by virtue of the notice of intent, for lack of a better phrase, submitted by the applicant to be considered by the council for acceptance or rejection. That's not what the procedure says, to my understanding. The procedure requires that the applicant file that with the city clerk, and that was done. Whether we want to grant the business license later on is something that is part of our function. But preliminarily, it goes to Chuck and it goes to John for review. But ultimately, the provision was satisfied by the proper completion of that particular notice and having had it filed with the city clerk's office. My understanding.
Mr. Council President, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
Your point about where it would have been approved or rejected, both the Route 5 project and the one that we're talking about today, both went through the zoning board, both went through the planning board. If they would not have met the criteria, for example, if it didn't meet the state law requirement being near a school or a church or what have you, it would have been declined in the zoning board or planning board. So whether you're talking about the Stampone facility on Route 5 or the Briar Hill facility here at 1385 Abbott, from the point that the city was notified, they went through the processes of zoning and planning reviews. And if they did not meet the requirements of either, it would have never gotten to you.
Right.
So, but the municipal notice was issued back in October, but it didn't go through zoning and planning until like last month.
And the point of that might be what?
No, I'm just saying procedurally, because
Well, even procedurally, so it's my understanding that the entity has to then get the license from New York State. If New York State doesn't issue the license, there's no reason for the city to consider it because they didn't get the license. So then, the original notice happens in October, and then all of a sudden, an entity comes back to the city and says, okay, we got our license. Now, what do I need to do in order to get it, considered by the city? And then that's where it picked up about maybe 6-8 weeks ago.
Exactly, and if I may one more time, first of all, I was not development director at the time, but with all due respect to Mr. Stampone, who I think is a wonderful businessman and his plan was outstanding, the cart is before the horse, in my opinion there, because he does not have his state license. So he can still be declined by the state, and his business license with us was contingent upon that approval. So what happened here was they made the notice in 2023. In April of 2024, a 2-year license was issued. They came in almost immediately. This is when I say this is the Pepe and Cania group. They came in almost immediately. They worked with code enforcement, similarly to the way we worked with many projects, including Taco Bell and what have you. They got their plans together. They came before zoning and planning at the appropriate time. So really the time frame under which they're before you is very logical and very consistent with other projects that have come through.
And if I do recall correctly, there was an objection. In fact, I think Councilmember Muflahi, you raised it because I believe I made the motion to approve that request by Mr. Stampone contingent on state approval. But I think you objected to that procedurally, but it went through. And I don't think first of all, it wasn't an error, it certainly wasn't fatal. And depending on how one proceeds, obviously, it could be accomplished by following either avenue. But as time goes on, obviously, the rules become more clear over time, which I believe we're at now. Anyone else have any questions or?
So moving forward, this is the way it should go, right?
Yeah, well, so
Pretty much.
what we did not, to the councilwoman's point, what we did not have at the time of the Stampone proposal that we have today, we were dependent upon state law. We did not have our own ordinance. Due to turnover of the director position and the retirement of the former city attorney, we did not have our own ordinance put in place until March of 2024. If that were the case, you could have continued to operate on state law, but every other municipality has their own adaptation of it. So point to you, Mr. Sirdike, is going forward, you will now have the benefit of both the city ordinance, the state ordinance, and the appropriate applications of where those laws overlap, or where the city ordinance doesn't have a particular section deferral to state law and how those happen.
And Chuck, in your opinion, was procedure properly followed?
Absolutely.
John, in your opinion, was procedure properly followed?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions on this item?
I just do based on the city ordinance, and I prefer to go on record. I don't want to be argumentative at all in any case, and this has nothing to do with you, Ms. Pepe. This is a very important issue that we, as a council, believe is of great concern. And we did create a city ordinance that clearly sets the parameters for where we allow cannabis shops to be developed. And in my opinion, I know we have the opinions of the city attorney as well as the director of development, but I believe that this particular location does conflict with our city ordinance when it comes to the location and distance of two community centers. And I know that we've had conversations in the past of what a legitimate community center is or isn't, but I would argue that the community services for everyone, which is approximately 50 feet away from the current location and request. And then across the street, there is the Islamic Community Center, which is roughly 399 feet property line to property line, which property line is very clear in the city ordinance versus the state ordinance, which states door to door. So I'm objecting on those two whether it's the distance as well as what the legal definition of a community center is. And I just want to make that very clear. This is not a personal issue. I never want it to be interpreted that way. But in my opinion, the distance that is stated in the city ordinance is what I'm going to follow. And as far as what a community facility is defined in the city ordinance is what I'm going to follow, and that's what my vote is going to be based on. So I just want to be very clear with that.
For clearing up for the record, how is the term community center defined in the city ordinance? Do you remember?
There is a definition of community facility. Do I have yours? I have yours. But notwithstanding I understand the councilwoman's point, but it doesn't trump the fact of how measurement is conducted. That's based on New York state law. But the community facility definition in the Lackawanna ordinance is any location where children congregate, including but not limited to playgrounds, libraries, public parks, bicycle paths, public pools, splash pads, athletic facilities, fields, and child care centers.
Okay.
And the councilwoman's point of what's 50 feet away is not a community center, in my opinion. And then what is the Islamic center doesn't meet the definition of community center here. But again, if it's arguable, you know, the people have seen the emails that I went back and forth. So
I just like to close this by saying this discussion has been ongoing, and this dialogue has been had at several junctures in this process, both at the zoning planning hearing, via email, via personal private conversations, and thanks to Chuck's effort and John, your efforts, to go as far as to solicit a legal opinion from the state or an attorney who is considered an expert in this field. The appropriate measurement of distance is door to door, not boundary line to boundary line. So reasonable people will disagree, but I believe this issue has been aired out ad nauseum, as a matter of fact, and I think we all have a vote. We can vote however our consciences dictate, but we will move forward with this matter.
May I have 30 more seconds? Just to clarify a point, because it's unfortunately misrepresented as to what the community services for everyone building is. That building, which is right next door, it's a former funeral home for those of us who are old enough to remember, is not a school, mental health counseling center, drug center, overnight center. It is not a center of education. What it is that by the organization's own marketing materials, it is a day habilitation center for developmentally disabled adults that come in there to learn basic job skills, socialization skills. They come in, they leave. It is not a community center for people to walk into. It's clearly a specialized area of function. And when the state did its review of the Briar Hill license, they would have immediately flagged that facility as being right next door. And second of all, in any of the communications that came from the zoning or planning boards, you're all familiar with notices that go out to surrounding properties on an action. We have not received not one written, electronic, or face-to-face complaint about the Briar Hill project from Community Services for Everyone. So it's incorrectly stated that that's a community center. It is not. It is it's a habilitation center for people who need job and return to work skills. So it does not meet any of those criteria.
Okay, given that, I believe the discussion is closed. It needs to be closed on this item. Moving on, with that being our last agenda item, I would formally call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As the city clerk to take the roll.
Maflahe? Present. Anderson? Here. Moretti?
Here.
Sirdike?
Present.
Morano? Here. Law Department?
Here.
Development and Marketing?
Here.
Public Works?
Here.
Public Safety?
Here.
Assistant Comptroller? Here. Recreation?
Here.
We're moving on to hearings from citizens. Mr. Kwasniewski. From the Senate.
John Kwasniewski, 270 Center Street, Lackawanna. Just wondering now, number 10, we're gonna get a bond resolution for $15 million. That's like a limit, right?
$15,250,000 is the limit.
250,000?
$15,250,000 is the limit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay, so now if this doesn't pass, number 10, number 13, 14, and 15 are no good.
Correct,
Right.
that's what we discussed
That's
earlier.
what I'm getting at, right? Okay. Now, if number 10 passes, I'd like to know what our taxes will go up every year.
I tried to find that out. We don't know. We don't even know what the interest rate on the bond is going to be yet. So it's difficult to project what the tax impact will be on this. But I was assured by our controller's office that there are mechanisms in place that will help lessen the impact of any substantial increase based on this item alone to the tax burden of the citizens and businesses of this community.
Okay, but if this does pass, our taxes will be going up for a limit. How many years you just said it can go up for? 25 years?
Well, he didn't say anything about the taxes going up. He said
No,
the bond
he
could
said
go
that
on for 25
Yeah,
years.
the city will be paying for that bond for like 25 years. Right, you can go up to that far.
At a maximum, the bond can last for 25 years, but that doesn't mean the city is paying all 25 years. It doesn't mean taxes are gonna rise because there's other streams of revenue. There are businesses that come in, there are other government aid that comes in. So it's a mix of all of those items that will determine the payback period for the potential bond.
Okay, so I would say it'd be rough for me if I was sitting on that seat past this right now with not knowing anything about what our taxes are gonna go up or how much it's gonna cost us for how many years, or it'd be tough for me to vote for this.
Well, we appreciate your position on that, John.
Yeah. It's tough. You have an idea now when you just did the budget and you took the city hall out of the budget for how many millions of dollars? How much was that now that you saved every thousand for the city, every thousand on the tax rate?
Based on what was proposed versus what passed, I want to say approximately $19, $20, something like that. I don't remember.
$1,000?
Something like that. I don't remember what the exact dollar amount. Went to 4.6% versus like a 24 point something percent, right? Increase.
Correct.
So removing that plus applying the money that was in a separate account brought the tax rate down to an increase of 4.6% versus 24 point something percent. I don't have those figures in front of me.
So roughly that would cost us that many dollars every thousand?
I don't know if you could figure this out now, John. I mean, that's not really a fair question for any of us here.
Just sort of an idea what it's gonna cost anyways.
Well, it could result in a tax increase. Nobody's denying
Yeah,
it.
there's definitely gonna be a tax increase if this goes.
But
Definitely. And I don't know how you're gonna raise it because we're at our limit now too, right?
the other reality is, we definitely need a new city hall. So we're faced with that reality.
To face maybe fixing this for $1 million and saving how many million?
Well,
Can do that
I don't
too.
know where you're getting your figures from, but thanks for your proposal.
I'm just saying, just a rough idea what it costs to fix this place versus the new one.
Okay,
Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of August 12th, 2024.
Brian moves to adopt minutes of regular meeting August 12th, 2024 is written.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe, to adopt minutes of the regular meeting of August 12th, 2024 is written. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Departmental reports 1 through 5.
Brian moves to receive and file departmental reports 1 through 5 inclusive.
Moretti second.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe, to receive and file departmental reports 1 through 5. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Director of Parks and Recreation requests the City Council approve the use of Veterans Stadium by Lackawanna Little League Football from September 1st to November 18th. Insurance has been provided.
Brian moves to approve request.
Anderson second.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Director of Parks and Recreation requests the City Council approve the use of Veterans Stadium by LA Sports Club on Saturdays and Sundays from 3 to 9 p.m. from September 4th to October 26th, 2024 for youth soccer. Insurance has been provided.
Brian moves to approve request.
Anderson second.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Director of Parks and Recreation requests the City Council approve the use of Veterans Stadium by Lackawanna Soccer Club every Monday from September 4th through October 26th for flag football. Insurance has been provided.
Morano moves to approve request.
Anderson seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. City Attorney requests the City Council approve the proposed fire chief contract for August 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2027, and authorize the mayor to execute same.
Morano moves to approve fire chief contract, authorize the mayor to file the execute same.
Moretti second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to approve fire chief contract and authorize the mayor to execute same. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. City Attorney requests the City Council approve the proposed bond council resolution for the new City Hall project located at 2838 South Park Avenue in the amount of $15,250,000.
Morano moves to receive and file act on resolution.
Moretti second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to receive and file act on resolution. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. A bond resolution authorizing a capital improvements project at City Hall at an estimated cost of $15,250,000 and authorizing the issuance of serial bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $15,250,000 pursuant to the local finance law. Said amount will be offset by any federal, state, county, and/or local funds received.
Morano moves to adopt proposed bond council resolution as written.
Moretti second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to adopt proposed bond council resolution as written. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Senior Foreman Public Works requests the City Council approve the purchase of a used 2022 Freightliner Model 114 SD plow truck from the town of Cornellsville in the amount of $255,000.
Morano moves to approve request.
Second, Sirdike.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Senior Foreman Public Works requests the City Council approve the striping of a new crosswalk and installation of signage at 257 Ridge Road. St. Hyacinth's Head Start diagram was attached.
Morano moves to approve request.
Moretti second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Senior Foreman Public Works requests the City Council approve Risa Terrace General Construction for the new City Hall General Contractor. Bid price was the lowest at $5,077,000.
Morano moves to approve request.
Anderson seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Senior Foreman Public Works requests the City Council approve CIR Electrical Construction Corporation for the new City Hall electrical work. Bid was at the lowest price of $1,697,900.
Morano moves to approve request.
Anderson seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Senior Foreman Public Works requests the City Council approve CPL Clark Patterson Lee as the project coordinator for the new City Hall project. Total cost $194,290. Proposal was attached.
Morano moves to approve request.
Anderson seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Senior Foreman Public Works requests the City Council approve his attending the New York Conference of Mayors Public Works Training School in Saratoga Springs from October 21st through October 23rd.
Morano moves to approve request.
Anderson seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to approve request. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano? Carried 5-0. Chief of Police requests the City Council approve the ordinance amending the 2024-2025 budget to add a budget code to the Capital Fund Body Worn Camera Initiative, DASNY. The DASNY grant was awarded in the amount of $363,000.
Morano moves to receive and file act on ordinance.
Second, Sirdike.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike, to receive and file act on ordinance. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. An ordinance amending the 2024-2025 budget to add a budget code to allocate budgeted funds in the amount of $363,000 to the body worn camera initiative DASNY budget code.
Morano moves to adopt ordinance as written.
Second, Sirdike.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike, to adopt ordinance as written. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Assistant Comptroller requests the City Council approve the standard workday reporting resolution for elected and appointed officials, the Form RS 2417-A.
Morano moves to approve standard work day reporting resolution.
Moretti second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti, to approve standard workday reporting resolution. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0.
Mr. Ingram, you Front Center. Communications from citizens.
John Ingram, 25 Church Street. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the council for their participation in the Community Fun Day. Went off very well. Kids had a wonderful time. Folks had a wonderful time. We were able to help a lot of people. Thank you. Well, you know, I've been coming to the council meetings since 2009. I've been here longer than, and I've been to most of them, and this year has been the most I missed council meeting. I say that for two reasons, because I remember a lot of things that were discussed at this council meeting that some people that weren't here or tend to forget or don't realize. Remember when we were talking about the crosswalk last week, and God was getting a little heated behind it. And we're not gonna have a light to the middle of it till maybe sometime next year. Okay, that's fine. But you need a crosswalk. We have people that's trying to cross the street every day. And traffic from 2009 up was a little different. Now it's hectic. You need something. I don't care if it's slowing down for a few minutes or a few seconds. It's enough that can save somebody's life. Till we get that light up there. You go to every other area, I done been to Buffalo where they got crosswalk, which you would never expect that. But you need something to help those citizens. I'm a senior myself, but we have other people who use the wheelchair, use the hover around. They need something. And if it slows down traffic just a little bit, it saves somebody's life. Until we get that light, we need something on that. Secondly, the Hawk light. For those of you who don't know how that Hawk light got there, me and Kearns helped get the money, but it was a little Mexican man that used to come to the council every day, every council meeting, twice a week, to beg for that Hawk light to say, so we can get it by the library. It was very well needed, and it saved a lot of lives. I remember when we were watching kids trying to cross the street during the library traffic, and they could have got killed several different times. That Hawk light saved lives. I watched it being used during Fun Day, when ladies would come with their babies and stuff. Now, it may not be perfect, whatever, but it does its job. So I was a little, when I heard somebody talk about the cross light was saying stuff, I didn't think they knew what they were doing. I just think they didn't understand why we fought so hard for it. The NFT buses on Lackawanna. The 42 bus runs from tried to turn down Lackawanna and tried to turn going back over Ridge Road. I'm gonna say this because I said it several times. We have a wonderful restaurant across the street. Serve wonderful food. We all been there, former councilmen there. But when when events are there, the traffic, the bus stops, where the buses can't turn or you cannot turn around, it's a problem. When anytime there's an event there that causes so much traffic, where people are parking on the side, where the cars that's trying to turn can't turn, that's the issue. Notice we have video that show that. I still have a video to show it. Now, it has not been as bad as it, but it's been bad. And several times when we call, the police come down and do their duty. But this cannot be continued. Enough of people thinking that when they come to the city of Lackawanna, they can do what they want to do. If you're blocking where an NFT 42 bus cannot turn, or a regular car can't turn, that's the issue. You know? And nobody wants to see any citizens suffer with it, but we have to protect our regular citizens too. And if you do not believe that it's happened, just watch when a big event, I can call you up, I have called, other people have called, other people on this council have seen it. It cannot continue.
He's absolutely right.
You
You're
can't,
absolutely right.
it cannot continue.
And that intersection is horrible when there's an event at that
Yeah.
restaurant.
And there's no
It's
disrespect to the business, wonderful business. Food is excellent. A possibility, I spoke with NFTA, is a possible shelter that will be on either Odell or up on Lackawanna. They have not made a decision yet, but hopefully, wherever they put the shelter, we need it. Our winters are brutal, and our citizens need to be made just a little place where they can come. The mayor has been wonderful trying to help with this situation. I hope that we can have it. I should know somebody this week. Then, my gas station from nowhere. When I first thought about this gas station convenience store, I was a young man. I'm old now. And we still don't have this gas station. And it's a shame because it would have been a wonderful addition to the community. Some people say we don't need, but I think it would have been great, gas. But now we have to do something. I know we can't do nothing to the owner, and I'm not saying that, but we cannot keep letting people buy our property saying they're gonna do things and nothing happens.
Did you say buy our property?
Well, it's our property, city property.
No, it was a private sale.
Yeah, but it was a city at the time, the city owned it at the time.
No. This individual purchased it privately. We live in a free market capitalistic society.
Well, you know what I meant, but what I'm saying is.
But private sales are legal.
Okay, we're
And
not
you
saying-
can't dictate what people
We're
do
not saying,
with private sales.
I'm not saying dictate, but when people come up to the city, too many people come to the city of Lackawanna, say, oh, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that and whatever, and it sit there for 5 to 10 years. Case in point, when they talked about the community center, I remember that discussion. That discussion was supposed to be about for the whole community.
Which community
The
services?
community center y'all just arguing about.
Community services for everyone?
No, when it was talked about, it was supposed to be a community center. Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I right, Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Can you clarify?
We're talking about on Abbott Road.
Oh, the
community
Lackawanna
center.
line?
Yes.
Have
I've
you
been
ever
there,
attended to-
I've gone there numerous times. Nobody's there during the day. Doors are locked. There's nothing on there that says when the kids or anybody can come there.
Was it
And
during
I've
the
requested,
renovation?
I have made a request to tour the place. I was here when the development worked on this project, and we asked the questions. Yes, you could shoot pool in there, the kids could come in there at any time, and this is what, how many years ago? 5 years
Like
ago?
I said, I was a young man still.
And then finally, they did a beautiful job on the front. It looks very nice now. But again, I'd like to tour the place.
I'm sure Izzy would be
Yeah,
more than
oh,
happy
yeah,
to help
yeah,
to
okay.
accommodate that.
Very
I'm
good.
just saying, those are I thank the council for listening to me.
But John, we appreciate your efforts and your concern about these items. The city will ask Director Baracco to look at the parking problem that occurs from time to time on the Steelawana Ridge Road area. And the gas station is privately owned. Where the city fell down, there was a lack of stronger control with the building permits and progress along those lines. The city's got to change its policy to ensure that the work gets done on a timely basis and the projects move forward instead of languishing. That's not the only one. There are other projects too that seem to languish for years with little or no progress. And we're trying to do the best we can.
And I appreciate it,
correcting that.
I'm just saying that we just need to do better than what we know.
We do need to do better. Thank you.
Why doesn't the bus go down Simonsboro?
Because that's not
the route.
That's not the route.
Steelawana's the route.
Brandon moves to receive and file.
Can I make a recommendation possibly for
Sure.
that specific area? Is there a way that we could do no parking from here to corner, where we can kind of block off at least the intersection area about 20 feet inwards of
There
each
is,
side?
Yeah,
there
there
is
is
no parking there. They don't obey it.
Right.
And it's
it
on
needs to
both
be
sides of
heavily
the street,
enforced.
and And if something's going on during the day, you have semis that are trying to make the turn
Oh,
there.
trust me, I
And they
know.
can't make the turn.
I turn off
Okay.
of Lackawanna onto Ridge because I work downtown and I completely agree, but it needs to be enforced. It needs to be enforced. And I don't recall, but I'll double check if there's one on Lackawanna going onto Ridge. The no parking from here to corner, because that's important too. So we'll look into that.
Yeah, Director Morocco, again, he's
Certainly.
looking into that. Again, I renew my motion to receive and file. Anderson, second.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to receive and file. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Business registrations. Christopher Duffy, Duffy's Auto Detailing, 1212 Abbott Road, Suite 5.
Morano moves to approve business registration.
Ready, second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to approve business registration. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Karen Pepe, Briar Hill Holdings LLC, Cannabis Dispensary, 1385 Abbott Road.
Morano moves to approve business registration.
Ready, second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti to approve business registration. Maflahe?
No.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-1.
Moving on to table items, it may be too late for this item based on what was represented before, but I would like to remove from the table the motion, the request from Izzy Mohammed to buy that lot on the corner of South Park and, was it Stern?
Farrell.
Farrell.
And just to give it an up or down vote, the three issues that were raised, one was the usability, is it an approval, is it an appropriate usage? It's an appropriate usage, it could be not the best usage. Second issue was, the offer was for $4,000. The appraisal that the city attorney got was for $10,000 some dollars. And the third issue was the lack of a completion schedule or timeliness of past endeavors by Mr. Mohammed to get other properties that he bought through the city up and running, and that hasn't happened. Not to say that this wouldn't be a viable project, but anyway, those were the considerations. So I'm moving that it be removed from the table in fairness to get this answered one way or the other.
Second.
Remove from table.
Removal from the table here, Council President, and it just dies for
If it's not addressed within, I think, 90 days, something like that, then it dies on its own. I don't think it's been 90 days, but in fairness to Izzy, I mean, he needed an answer before. If it's not too late, then if there are other things that he might propose, this will give him an opportunity to do that. So he's not waiting for 90 days to run, not knowing what's going on.
So are we removing it from the table and voting on whether we approve the sale?
First, we have to remove from the table, and then we have to vote to either accept or reject the offer.
Got it, okay.
This is to remove from the table.
Okay, request to remove from the table Mr. Mohammed's request to purchase the property at the corner of South Park and, was it Vero?
Farrell.
For $4,000.
For $4,000. Motion?
You gotta take the vote. Is there a second?
Yes, Sirdike.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear him.
Oh,
That's not your fault. Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0.
Does anyone want to make a motion? If not, I would make a motion to reject the offer based on the several aforementioned bases.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I made the motion to reject the offer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll
He just-
second it. Yeah.
Okay. Request motion to reject offer based on prior information regarding the property located at South Park in Vero. Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike. Maflahe?
No.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-1.
Are there any other table items or old business any of the council members wish to address at this time? If not, Morano makes a motion, and I'd like to make a motion to include the memory of Mark Balin, who was a former mayor, superintendent of the, mayor of the city, superintendent of the school district, and he was the mayor whose administration was responsible for the construction of the city hall that is now in question, and by virtue of the votes taken today, will eventually be removed. In addition to that, I would also like to adjourn this meeting in the memory of a dear friend of mine's sister. Mohammed Albana's sister recently passed away unexpectedly, and I would like us to keep his family and her in our thoughts and prayers. And I'd like to move to adjourn this meeting in both memories, Mark Balin and Mohammed Albana's sister. Et al.
Motion by Morano, second et al. To adjourn meeting in memory of Mark Balin, former mayor and school superintendent, and Mr. Mohammed Albana's sister. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson? Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0.